My daughter begged for a hamster, so we got one named Houdini. Little did we know, Houdini was a furry escape artist. One day I found him in the fridge, having a chill next to the cheese. I swear he winked at me like, "Just checking if the snacks are up to par, human." It's official. Houdini's the David Blaine of hamsters.
My beagle, Sherlock Bones, has a nose for treats that rivals a bloodhound. I hid a bag of treats in the deepest, darkest corner of the pantry, behind the canned goods and ancient spices. The next day, the treats were gone. I found Sherlock Bones with a guilty look and a belly full of evidence. Elementary, my dear Watson. The case of the disappearing treats is solved, and the culprit is currently napping on the crime scene. So my cat decided he wanted to join the circus. I woke up one morning to find him practicing tightrope walking on the curtain rod. I guess he figured the litter box was just too mainstream for him. Now, every time I leave the house, I half expect to come home to find him juggling mice. My dog has a secret life as a stand-up comedian. I found a notebook under the couch filled with jokes like, "Why did the dog sit in the shade? Because he didn't want to be a hot dog." I had no idea he was moonlighting as a comedian. Now I'm just waiting for him to get his own Netflix special.
So I once went on a date with this guy who claimed to be a performance artist. I thought, cool, I'm cultured. Little did I know, our date was at a park and he showed up dressed as a mime. Yes, a mime. The entire date was spent in awkward silence, broken only by invisible walls and exaggerated gestures. I guess he took communication through actions a bit too literally. I went out with a guy who insisted on driving us to the restaurant. He claimed to have an impeccable sense of direction. Long story short, he got us lost 3 times, argued with the GPS like it was his mortal enemy, and finally declared, "I think this GPS has a personal vendetta against me. I suggested we let the GPS lead the way. It didn't argue back." I once went on a date with a self-proclaimed romantic. He took me to a candlelit dinner on the beach. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, it would have been if he hadn't forgotten to check the tide schedule. Midway through our meal, a wave came in and soaked us both. I guess he wanted to make sure our date was truly unforgettable. Nothing says romance like soggy calamari and wet shoes.
My date told me she could communicate with spirits. I was skeptical. But then she started listing all my ex's names and their favorite pizza toppings. Either she's a psychic or she hacked my Facebook. I'm not sure which is scarier. We decided to try a fancy French restaurant. My date, trying to impress, attempted to order in French. The waiter just stared at us blankly. Turns out, my date asked for a plate of horse whispers instead of hors d'oeuvres. Bon appétit, I guess.
I went on a blind date, and everything was going surprisingly well, until we got to a karaoke bar. He decided to serenade me with "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston. Mid-song, he sneezed so forcefully that he accidentally launched himself backward off the stage. At least, it was a memorable performance. My date and I were having a lovely picnic in the park when a flock of pigeons surrounded us. Instead of shooing them away like a normal person, he started whispering to them, saying things like, "Guys, I'm on a date. Give us some space." I never thought I'd be in competition with pigeons for someone's attention. So, my buddy moved in with me, and we quickly discovered he had a unique talent. He could turn invisible whenever it was time to do the dishes. I'd hear the water running, but the plates remained untouched. It was like having a ghost for a roommate, but instead of haunting me, he just haunted the sink.
My Uber driver decided to drop some deep life advice on me during a short ride. As we pulled up to my destination, he said, "Life is like an Uber ride. Sometimes it takes unexpected turns, and you have to roll with it. And remember, no matter how confusing the journey, always tip your driver." I thanked him, not just for the wisdom, but for making me question every life decision in the span of a 10-minute ride.
I bought a Roomba to tackle the perpetual battle against pet hair. Little did I know, my cat saw it as a personal challenge. The first encounter turned my living room into a feline rodeo, with the cat riding the Roomba like a cowboy on a bucking bronco. I'm now convinced I have the only cat who moonlights as a rodeo star. Yah-ha, partner. I signed up for what I thought was a beginner's yoga class. Turns out I accidentally joined an advanced session. Picture this, everyone gracefully flowing through poses, and there's me, tangled in my yoga mat like a confused pretzel. The instructor kindly suggested I try advanced relaxation next time. Namaste, indeed. So there I was, thinking my cat, Sir Fluffington, was the next James Bond of the feline world. Turns out he's more like Mr. Bean with fur. One day, he decided to chase his tail like it owed him money and ended up stuck in a plant pot. Smooth move, Fluffington. I guess the spy business wasn't for him after all. Attempting a DIY family photo shoot sounded like a fantastic idea. Emphasis on sounded. After an hour of arranging ourselves like awkwardly posed mannequins, our dog decided to join the fun and photobombed every shot. We ended up with a family portrait that perfectly captured our dysfunction, complete with the dog wearing a pair of sunglasses he found on the floor. We framed it and named it Chaos in a Frame. We decided to have a family karaoke night. My dad, who swears he's the next rock star, grabbed the microphone. The moment he belted out the first note, the neighbor's cat started howling in protest. I guess even animals have strong opinions about my dad's singing skills. We now refer to it as the night the cat got a front row seat to a one-man concert. I asked Siri for the weather forecast, and she said, "Expect a 100% chance of awkward social interactions and a high chance of sarcasm. Dress accordingly." I guess I should have worn my raincoat made of dad jokes that day. I told Siri I was feeling lonely, and she said, "Why not try dating a smartphone? We're always here for you, and we'll never leave you on red." Thanks, Siri. I'll make sure to get a rose gold iPhone to match my romantic aspirations. I decided to let Siri help me in the kitchen. Big mistake. I asked her for a recipe, and she said, "To make a delicious cake, just mix flour, sugar, eggs, and Siri's secret ingredient, a sprinkle of artificial intelligence." I'm still trying to figure out how to clean AI out of my oven.
Curiosity got the best of me, so I asked Siri if she knows any celebrities. Her surprising response, "I'm friends with Alexa. We have a group chat with Cortana and Google Assistant. Apparently, the AIs have their own exclusive club. I can't help but wonder what they talk about. Probably plotting world domination or arguing about who has the coolest user. Siri, the secret society member, who knew? I guess when you're an AI, you need a digital VIP pass." In a moment of existential curiosity, I asked Siri, "What is the meaning of life?" Her response, "I can't answer that, but I can search the web for you." Thanks, Siri, for making me question the purpose of my existence and then casually suggesting I Google it. I guess Siri's more of a life coach than a digital assistant. Who knew virtual enlightenment was just a search away? So I decided to test Siri's comedic chops by asking her for a joke. Without missing a beat, she deadpanned, "Your life." I mean, really, Siri? I wanted a chuckle, not an existential crisis. I guess Siri moonlights as a stand-up comedian specializing in dark humor. I'll just add self-esteem counseling to my virtual assistant wish list. Our school bathrooms were like a forbidden realm, and venturing in there was like entering the Twilight Zone. One day, I swear I saw someone ride a unicycle out of a stall. Another time, a group of students formed a bathroom choir and started singing the national anthem. It was so legendary that the teachers turned a blind eye, and the bathroom became the unofficial talent show stage. I even once stumbled upon a heated debate about the proper way to hang toilet paper. Ah, the mysteries of the school bathroom, where normal rules don't apply.